Hello, everyone.
Happy holidays!
Merry Christmas, and thought we'd touch base with everybody. We've been getting a lot of mail and calls and stuff from people during the holidays with updates. We want to send a few of our own your way.
Yeah, our 2020 has been a very interesting year, I think comparable to everybody else who's been living in our global pandemic, but we've had a few good moments as well. So
we'll kind of go through a progression of what's happened this year, and I'm sure a lot of it is a common experience and what everybody's experienced through the pandemic, and we'll give you a little update on what's been going on with us.
Yeah, January was great. Valley was visiting us from Toronto. She was continuing to do her Peter Pan show at the Neptune Theatre, and then she left and I got the opportunity to visit my friend in Alberta, which was awesome before the lockdown happened.
Yeah, I guess that was the last trip you were going to take that year.
That was the last trip. But luckily, Valley ended up coming back right before the pandemic truly hit and the lockdown truly hit, and she ended up spending March all the way till July with us, making music, making lots of bread, doing yard work with us in the yard, which was awesome, and just spending lots of fun time together, which was great.
I think we were very lucky to have Fally in the house too. It was nice to have an extra person in the group. Mm-hmm. Made for a lot of better activities, and also the space we have here is perfect for extra people. So I think in that sense, it tempered certainly a little of the loneliness I think a lot of people had to deal with during the pandemic.
Definitely. And we just lucked out because we ended up having some really beautiful weather into the spring and the summer. So we got to make some maple syrup, which was really fun.
Yeah.
And more music and stuff too. And we even had our 5 minutes of fame where we were featured live on a few podcasts and got to send music out to some senior homes in the Ontario area. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and that's kind of how it started, eh? Fally had kind of caught wind of, what was it called? It was Smile?
Yeah.
So it's an organization and that kind of, or at least it's an organized activity where individuals were distributing to senior homes some music kind of to quell a bit of the loneliness that was happening with the lockdown. And Fally got our hands on the fact that was going on, so we decided to put a few songs together at first, and then we were posting them for our friends and family online, and it ended up being kind of a really nice activity to look forward to every week. This playing, jamming, and editing, and posting it, and kind of getting people's feedback was really nice.
Yeah, shameless plug, check it out.
Yeah. And you guys, I think, were the first, incidentally, were the first people probably in the lake this year.
Yeah, we were. We jumped in, I think in early May, we jumped into the lake.
I think you guys were in April, because I was in early May, and you guys had already been in once.
Actually, that's true. We did go in April, and then I had my 30 to 30 birthday. Sean spoiled me with 30 days of presents or activities for my birthday, and so we did that. And
which
on
was
one of the days,
shameless steal from your brain game that happened when I turned 30.
Yeah, but it was so much fun, and one of the first days was jumping into the lake, and so since my birthday's on June 3rd, it was pretty early May that I was jumping into the lake, but that was great. It was one of our favorite things over the summer was going for a short run, or we were building up to 5 kilometers and then doing our 5-kilometer run and then jumping into the lake afterwards was so much fun.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
Yeah, and I was planning on getting in shortly after you guys, but unfortunately kind of was playing we were sequestered at work. We were doing 24-hour shifts through COVID, and so they kind of expected us to eat, sleep, and exercise, do everything at work. One of our colleagues brought in a game called pickleball, which for those of you who don't know is essentially kind of a giant game of ping pong on a badminton-sized court, and you set it up impromptu on a parking lot or wherever you can find. And so that's what we did, and maybe I hadn't been moving my heels as much in the last few years, and one of them protested by letting go of my Achilles. So it's been a long and kind of drawn out process, made for a bit of a quieter spring and early summer for me.
But we ended up getting a nice little, I call it our little touge, our toujours moelleux. Is that right?
which is always squishy.
Our always squishy, which is the name of the little boat, the little putt-putt boat Sean got, which just was the best thing while Sean was healing on his Achilles, because he was able to go on that almost every single day. I would say he would go out on the boat and go fishing.
Well, I couldn't really walk. Well, I couldn't walk at all, and swimming was kind of a very limited activity because I couldn't use my legs to swim. I could only use my arms. So if I felt like getting out and getting some air and moving around and seeing things move, then it was kind of the boat was the default activity.
It was tons of fun. You even had a few friends come over once we were allowed to have a few friends around when the lockdown wasn't as strict. And we were able to go fishing a bunch of times, and even saw the sunrise a couple times, which was really lovely. Went out with Fally a few times too, had a few picnics. It was great.
Yeah. Yeah, we went out on the ocean a little bit.
Oh yeah,
had a few adventures and misadventures.
We did.
Yeah, broke down and on a windy day, and Sully and I paddled for our lives to kind of get back to not that we were ever really in danger, but we vastly underestimated how hard it was to.
We were on a bit of a sandbank, but
yeah, how hard it was to move a boat in that type of weather, but
with only the power of our arms, which we realize is is just feeble in comparison to the ocean. When she's only slightly irritated, not even.
Oh yeah, it was a nice day. It was a nice. So that was a vacation we went. So Mom, for anybody who doesn't know, Mom got a 55-acre property in northern Nova Scotia on the Northumberland Strait.
So excited.
Oh man, the water there is so warm too. I never thought the Atlantic could be that warm.
Oh, it was amazing.
23, 24 degrees Celsius ocean water. So we made a couple trips out there when we could, and obviously I was still a little limited in my ability to move, but Sully made the best of it, and so did I.
Yeah, and it was still lots of fun. We got to hang out with the niece and nephew, Cameron and Callie, and got to hang out with Jay and Dana as well, which was really, really fun. So we were having a great time. It was an awesome summer.
It was a super hot summer too. I think as far as I remember, I was kind of counting them the other day. I can only remember 6 rain days throughout the entire summer, from like early June to like end of September.
Yep, and that led us right into September, which is where things really started to feel a little bit like normal again. The lockdown wasn't as severe. The bubble had burst. We had a Atlantic bubble. We had our own little Atlantic bubble, so we got to see people from a couple different areas. And then we were spending lots of time with family. We got to see people up to numbers of 10 at one point. Some people even more when they were feeling a little risky.
Yeah, but you just moved on from summer a little too quick here.
Did I? You still have summer on your mind.
I'm still feeling the summertime. You took up fishing this summer.
I did take up fishing.
You're quite talented at it too. It started when Fally was here. Mm-hmm. And I remember a couple mornings a couple evenings. Sorry, we started doing our little evening cruises after dinner. We'd take out tea and just do a little putt around the lake. And we have a little electric motor on the boat as well, so it's nice to just silently cruise around Piggott Lake and see all the houses, wave at people, and have an evening tea. It became kind of a routine. It
was a pretty big routine. I would have my running and jumping in the lake routine, and then Sean and I would have our swimming and going on the boat routine. Yeah, it was great.
And then Sully, I think one day, I asked her if she wanted to go fishing. She was keen on it, but you spent, I think, three consecutive times fishing, catching the biggest fish I've ever seen come out of this lake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was fun.
And I think she still holds the record. I mean,
Colin
Spindler caught he got a doozy when I took him out one morning.
Yeah, he definitely won that one. But I was feeling pretty lucky because I was getting the fish pretty quickly. So that felt like a good accomplishment.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you were catching the big ones. But and for anybody who didn't know, Colin's a friend of ours here, and he and his wife were purchasing a new house in Fall River, and so they were in the meantime living out in our area, and so we got the chance to see them quite a bit. And he came out fishing a few mornings while I was still a little bit indisposed on my left leg. He was helping me load up the boat, and it was a really nice experience.
Yeah.
Anyways, I guess this is probably the natural break. We'll kind of give it a few minutes. You guys can listen to a tune we recorded sometime recently. And,
it's slightly depressing, but we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah. Sully sings it well. Makes me happy.
It's just a fun one.
We'll catch you back in a couple minutes.
Bye.
No, I said I loved you, but I'm thinking I was wrong. I'm the first to admit that I'm still pretty young. And I never meant to hurt you when I wrote you 10 love songs. Guy that I could never get, 'cause his girlfriend was pretty fit, and everyone who knew her loved her so. And I made you leave her for me, and now I'm feeling pretty mean, but my mind has fucked me over more times than any man could ever know. Maybe I should give up giving, give up trying to be thin, give up and turn into my mother. God knows I love her, and I'm sorry to whichever man should meet my sorry state. Watch my steady lonesome gait and beware. I will never love a man, 'cause love and pain go hand in hand, and I can't do it kin. So we stayed up late one night to try to get our problems right, but I couldn't get into his head just what was going through my mind. Thinking you know I was gone, I put Ryan Adams on. I think he thinks it makes me weak, but it only ever makes me strong. I've got this friend, you sound just like him, and he's the man I'd leave before the man that I just adore like you. The same man then turns to me, says, got to tell you how I feel. If God couldn't make the perfect girl for me, it would be you. And my God told me not to tell about how much do you love your fella. I don't know more every day, not in this new romantic way. I'll always be your first love. You'll always be my first love. And I'm sorry to whichever man should meet my sorry state. Watch my steady lonesome gait and beware. I will never love a man, 'cause love and pain go hand in hand, and I can't do it again. I will never love a man, 'cause I can never hurt a man, not in this new romantic way.
Hi again, everyone.
Welcome back.
And we are now leading into the fall.
Okay,
of
so
our year.
now it's the time.
Time to leave the heat behind and accept what's coming.
Ready for September.
So I think, as Saholy's mentioning earlier, the restrictions kind of loosened quite a bit during the summer. We had 0 cases for a little while, which I guess if we're still lingering in summer, did allow us to go out to restaurants and kind of go have beers and be social. Obviously, it's very limited in how they do that, but it was nice because I think we took for granted the fact that that can happen when there's no pandemic. And then, and I actually didn't even realize how much I missed it until we did go that one time at the beginning of the summer with Fally when we went to Elliot and Vine, which is a wonderful restaurant around our area, and just sitting down and having a beer and some oysters and having a service staff that are working and a business that's running, a small business owner. It was really nice.
Yeah, we actually, I think over the summer and into the fall, we ended up going out for dinner and buying food more than we typically do because we knew how much restaurants were having a hard time. So Sean and I have quite a few local restaurants that we really enjoy. Like there's one Korean restaurant we absolutely love. And so we kept trying to go there because we knew that it's just a hard time right now for the local businesses.
Yeah, for any small business. And, at the very least with food, it's easy to kind of encourage that. So it's something we wanted to keep our favorites up and running. Yeah. So far, so good. Let's Go, the Korean restaurant we like, kind of went out of business momentarily, but I think they're coming back.
They are.
Which is nice.
They're back now, actually.
Are they? Oh,
yeah.
I know where we're going for dinner. So that pretty much where it led into fall, kind of loosened through the summer and then into the fall is kind of when we were at the best point of, no cases. People were getting used to how to socially distance and how to go out in public. People were comfortable with it again. So that I definitely can't understate the peace of mind that comes with that.
Yeah.
Getting used to, we have family in BC and Ontario, friends and family in Quebec and stuff. And, speaking to them, it's easy to take for granted the fact that you can go out and have that peace of mind, but when it's a reminder when you speak to people that in other provinces where there's a higher numbers, it's a constant worry, whereas for a while we had the relief of not having to worry about that. So going into the fall, it kind of I think we had settled in and at least had a break from the whole COVID thing.
Yeah, or it felt like that way anyway.
Yeah, totally.
Other than not being able to travel, but for sure.
Yeah.
The fall was kind of interesting because Sean was starting to finally feel better. Didn't have to use his what is it called again?
My Thunderbolt?
Your armless crutch or your...
Oh, my peg leg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like your arm. It's called a little armless crutch, and it just attaches to his knee, and his knee sort of bends at a 90-degree angle, and then it attaches to his kneecap and goes to the floor that way. And he was using that all the time, and then switched over to a cane and had a big boot for a while. And so by the time the fall hit, Sean was out of the boot, didn't really have to use the cane as much, which was really nice.
Yeah.
And I had a job interview for a new role as a provincial trainer, which is
You had a couple job interviews.
I did. I did. I only ended up doing one job interview because since the managers knew each other, it didn't really feel like it made sense to accept a job and then do another job interview. But it was nice to get the experience to do the job interview, and that was really fun. And I ended up getting the position, which was great. And so I've been exploring this new role for the last 3 months.
And contrast for everybody what your old role was and what the new role entails.
So the old role was a clinical interventionist, which is we're working with kids with autism, and you're sort of working as a team lead who supports the kids with autism and their families, and coaching and training, and in collaboration with other team members, figuring out what the plan is going to be, how you're going to do the treatment, what does the treatment look like for this particular kiddo and the particular family. And then the provincial trainer supports those clinical interventionists by setting up those plans, doing lots of training, because being a clinical interventionist takes a lot of training. So it just, it's sort of outside of what you're typically educated for, because there's a lot of different disciplines that can go into it. So it's been really fun because I've been able to sort of coach and support and train, and I'm still getting to work with my team that I was a clinical interventionist for before. So that's been really fun because I really love working with them. So it's been a great little transition. It's very different, I think, than what the role typically is, because this year is different for everyone. But I'm still putting my feet in and figuring out how I feel about it. Ask me again in 6 months, and maybe I'll have an answer for you then.
Yeah, no, it's been a productive fall. A lot of us kind of lined up, and we kind of went down into a bit of a mini lockdown again. I guess in comparison, our numbers are still quite low compared to everybody else, but they wanted to nip it in the bud, so they kind of locked it up, made limits for groups, and certainly in the city anyway.
Yeah.
And then obviously leading up to Christmas, that actually worked, and we were down into I think we only have 36 active cases today in Nova Scotia.
Awesome.
And that'll likely go up a little bit after Christmas naturally, but it did go low enough for them to allow for larger groups to gather on Christmas Day and stuff, which was really nice. But again, that's something we really don't take for granted. We did have, those loosened restrictions even in the fall when the cases started going up did allow us to see my brother Jay and his wife Dana and the kids, and we went to see Mom. My buddy Brock and I, one of my best buddies, went up to Mom's place for a weekend and did a little fall trip with her. So it's been nice. We've been able to kind of take advantage of that stuff, and so by lack of access to travel and all the rest elsewhere, we've gotten around the province a little bit. I guess if we jump back we went to Lunenburg and kind of...
Yeah, we had our first year anniversary together.
Yeah, and it's nice too because I think it's easy to forget how beautiful it is around your own home sometimes because you're so focused on, Thailand or Central America or even just Montreal or Vancouver, and then you forget that if you just kind of go out your front door and drive 30 minutes down the road, you can find really awesome places to go.
We went to a place called we went to Lunenburg, and then we decided to, because Sean has, of course, at that time, he couldn't walk around very much. So instead what we were doing was driving around to see different places, and we went to a little place called Blue Rock. Was it Blue
Rocks?
Rock?
Yep.
Yeah, Blue Rocks. And it was so lovely. We were driving through the coast and seeing these gorgeous little colorful houses along the coastline and then looking out at the sunset. And it was just such a nice experience. And then we drove through and we kept seeing a bunch of lighthouses, and just driving down that whole area along the coast was really, really lovely. So
yeah, we
had a fun time.
Yeah. So I think we've kind of reminded ourselves that even, hopefully when things kind of start to unblock, to make a bigger effort to see what's around our house, what's around our home. But no, it's been a pretty good year despite everything.
Yep.
Full of adjustments and compromises, but I think that's everybody's experience at this point.
Yep.
There's a lot of people we miss a lot.
Yeah. Miss everybody.
Yeah. Christmas has really accentuated that, I think. I think it's easy to, we miss everybody anyway, but I think at Christmas you kind of start realizing, you start counting how many months it's been since you've seen someone. And that can make it a little tough. So I think Christmas is the best and the worst in that sense, is that we've had a lovely Christmas time together, but there's a lot of people we're thinking of. And we miss everybody. Yeah.
Miss you guys, and we're thinking of all of you, and we hope we'll get to see you in 2021.
Yeah. Hopefully we have our eyes on the horizon. The sooner that comes, the better, and we'll be hopefully jumping in the car to cross all our provincial borders en route to see everybody sooner than later.
Love you all.
Love you. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye.
Cassidy, the sky. Grab your Swiss Army knife and the blanket and meet me outside. Yeah, come on, Cassidy. The things I lean on are slippery, but I know I love you and you make it so hard to leave. But I'll keep loving you till I'm only a memory. We spend our whole lives moving on, reaching out for loving arms. The night is young, come out with me. Cassidy, with the ocean in your hair, come out with me. Cassidy, I'll be tangled up tonight, but tomorrow I'll be up in the air. Come on, county line, crazy waves down from Caroline. Saw the smoke hung in the air while the sun was setting. You said it looked just like an oil spill into heaven. Don't say fairly well. You got that anxious feeling, I can tell. You're getting antsy. Let's go up to Neptune's net and have a drink, and plan a trip somewhere to a beach on a magazine. Spend my whole life moving on, reaching out for loving arms. The night is young, come out with me. Cassidy, with the ocean in your hair, come out with me. Cassidy, I'll be tangled up tonight, but tomorrow I'll be up in the air. Cassidy, I love the feeling of sand on my feet and salt on my skin. You say you never wear clothes again if